Wednesday. Hope that you all are having a fantastic week. Today we are going to trudge on through with topic 14-8, which is talking all about units of mass. We are still within the metric system this week, which is the system of measurement that is used most widely throughout the world. Remember, customary system is used predominantly here in the United States. So far this week for the metric system, we talked all about the metric units of length. The base unit for the metric units of length is the meter. And then yesterday we talked all about the metric units of volume or capacity, which is the amount within a container, how much space is inside of something. And that was measured with the base unit of liter. Okay, so today we are moving on to mass. And mass is similar to weight if we're comparing it side to side to the customary system. However, there is a slight difference between them. Weight is the gravitational pull that an object has, and mass is the amount of space that something takes up, how much matter it contains, I should say. Okay, so we are going to trudge right through today. The base unit for mass is something that you guys, I'm sure, have heard of before, and that is going to be the gram. So our base unit is 1 gram, and then of course we add those metric prefixes going up, deca, kilo, going down, deci, centi, and milli. Okay, so let's get started. So our words to know for today are a dollar bill, and if you have one of these, it doesn't have to be necessarily $1 because the mass of all bills is the same. So if you have a dollar bill that you can grab, or a $5 bill, or a $10 bill, or whatever you have, if you want to grab one of those so that you can get the feel of what it feels like, that'll be really helpful. Also, if you happen to have a cantaloupe handy, if we were in school, I would have brought in a cantaloupe for today for us to pass around for all of you guys to feel what the mass is there. Okay, so we're going to be looking at a dollar bill, a cantaloupe, a brick. This thing is that pan balance. We also used this for weight. And then they have the abbreviation kg, which is the abbreviation for kilogram. If you guys can remember from Monday when we talked about it, that prefix kilo, so it doesn't matter if it's a kilometer or a kiloliter or a kilogram, it means 1,000 of that base unit. Okay, so this represents 1,000 grams.
What are metric units of mass? Think about this during the lesson. Mass is the amount of matter that something contains. The two metric units of mass used most often are gram and kilogram. Study the words gram and kilogram. How many grams are in 1 kilogram?
Okay, so we just talked about this a minute ago, so y'all are a step ahead here. So if you notice, the only difference between the word gram and the word kilogram is that prefix. And remember, that prefix is just that little bit of that part of the word that comes before the base word here, okay? And the root word here is gram. The prefix is kilo, and that kilo represents how many. If you remember, shout it out at your screen right now. I'm going to wait for a second. If you're shouting out 1,000, you are absolutely correct. So how many grams are there in 1 kilogram? There would be 1,000 grams. Bam, you guys just did a metric conversion and you didn't even know it. So smart.
1 kilogram is 1,000 grams. How do you know? The prefix kilo means 1,000. Here is the mass of a few items you already know. A dollar bill has a mass of about 1 gram.
Okay, so if you have not paused the video to go and grab yourself a dollar bill or a $5 bill or any kind of bill that you have, it doesn't matter. I would like for you to do so at this time just so that you can get that real life reference, that concrete feeling of what a 1 gram feels like, okay? I don't have a dollar in front of me, but I do have a small piece of paper that's about the size of a dollar. So it's very light. I can actually bounce it up and down in my hand without even thinking about it. I could hold this all day long with zero effort. It would take me no work at all to hold this dollar for ever. Okay. Now, a kilogram would be about 1,000 grams. So if you had 1,000 singles of $1,001 bills, that would be the same mass or an equivalent mass, roughly, to one cantaloupe. Okay. If you guys don't know what a cantaloupe is, it's this fruit right here. When you cut it open, it's orange on the inside. So I'm sure if I say that, maybe you guys will see it a little bit better.
A cantaloupe has a mass of about 1 kilogram.
So if you happen to have a cantaloupe or a honeydew kind of looks like this, except it's smoother on the outside and it's green on the inside. If you happen to have a cantaloupe or a honeydew, pause this video, go grab it, hold it in your hands, and see what it feels like, okay? And if you get to the food store anytime soon with your parents or whomever, if you can get your hands on one just to feel it for the weight, I would love for you to do that.
What metric unit of mass would you use to measure a small piece of cantaloupe?
Okay, so we're going to fractions here. So this whole cantaloupe is 1 kilogram. Okay, so 1,000 grams is this whole thing. Now, if I took this cantaloupe and I chopped it up into little itty bitty pieces, and I just had one piece, one small piece, maybe like this big, that I had in my hand, what would be the most appropriate unit for me to measure just that little piece of the cantaloupe? Do you think it would be appropriate for me to use the gram as my unit of measurement? Or would it be appropriate for me to use the kilogram? If you're saying the gram, I agree with you. Now, the kilogram is not appropriate because the kilogram is the entire thing. And remember, when we're talking appropriate units of measurement, we want to go lower so that we get a more accurate estimation.
The mass of a small piece. How would you measure the mass of a cart of cantaloupes?
All right, so now Miss Lawson goes to ShopRite, and she loves cantaloupes so much, I just load my whole cart all the way up to the top. I bought all the cantaloupes at the store. How would I measure the mass of my entire shopping cart filled with cantaloupes? What would be the most appropriate unit? Would it be the gram or would it be the kilogram? What do you think?
The mass of a cart of cantaloupes is best measured with kilograms.
If you said kilograms, reach your arm up nice and tall and give yourself a nice pat on the back. Nice job.
You can estimate the mass of an object using the information you know about the mass of the dollar bill or the mass of one cantaloupe. Think about the metric units of mass. What is the mass of a red brick? Let's find out.
Okay, so what they want for us to do is they want for us to use our knowledge and our understanding of what we just learned, that 1 gram is about it has the mass, the weight of a $1 bill. So it's very light. I can hold it forever with little to zero effort without even thinking about it. Versus a cantaloupe, which is equivalent to about 1 kilogram, which is 1,000 grams. Okay, so if I was holding that cantaloupe, I can hold it. It's not that heavy. I could hold it for a while. But if I was holding it for 2 hours, 3 hours, after a while, my arms are going to be really, really, really tired. Okay. So if we're thinking about that, zero effort, could hold it forever, no issues at all, versus has some depth to it, has some mass to it that I'm really going to feel if I hold for a long time. What do you think would be the most appropriate unit for us to measure the weight of a brick? Now, some of you guys may have seen a brick, held a brick in real life. Think about which one of these units would be most appropriate. Do you think if I held a brick, I would be holding it with zero effort, not even thinking about it, light as a feather? Or do you think it would have some substance to it, some real mass that would probably tire me out after holding it for an extended period of time? If you're going with kilogram, I agree with you 100%.
First, would it make sense to use a gram unit to measure the mass of a brick?
So it would not
Explain.
make sense for us to use that gram unit because the unit is just way too small. The mass is way too light.
No, it would not make sense. The mass of one brick is more than the mass of $1 bill. So, now that you have chosen the appropriate unit for measuring, estimate to see how many cantaloupes would have the same mass as one red brick. You can use a pan balance to estimate the mass. Look at the pan balance. Think about how many cantaloupes it would take to have the same mass as one red brick.
Okay, so this pan balance scale, we saw this when we were measuring weight last week. So remember, it's kind of like a seesaw. The greater the mass on one side, that side's going to go down. The lighter object is going to go up. If they are level with one another, then that means that their mass is equivalent.
About 3 cantaloupes would have the same mass as one red brick. So the brick has a mass of about 3 kilograms. How do you know the red brick has a mass of about 3 kilograms? Each cantaloupe is about 1 kilogram. If the red brick has a mass of about 3 cantaloupes, then it has a mass of about 3 kilograms.
Remember, we're using the cantaloupes here as something called a non-standard unit of measurement. So it's not a weight that measures specifically 1 kilogram. It's not going to be exact. It's not going to be perfect, but it is about 1 kilogram, which is about 1,000 grams. So if we have 1,000 grams plus 2,000 grams plus 3,000 grams, that would be 3 kilograms.
Now you can measure. Place the brick on one pan. Add kilograms to the other pan until the balance is level to compare the two amounts of mass. Count the kilograms.
We have 1, 2, 3.
3 kilograms were used to level the balance. So, the brick has a mass of 3 kilograms. If you add another brick that is identical to the one already on the balance, what do you need to do to level the balance?
Okay, so this is kind of one of those critical thinking questions. We had one brick on our pan balance, and the brick went down. Just how the scale is going down right now, that's what happened when there was nothing on this side. Then we added 1, 2, 3 kilograms to this side, and the scale leveled out. That's what just happened in the last frame. So we had one brick and 3 kilograms, and it was level. Now we added a second brick, and woof, it went down on the seesaw. So what would we have to add to this side to make our pan balance scale level back out? What do you think? How many kilograms would we need to add? If you're saying and add 3 more kilograms, you are absolutely correct, because in order to level this out, one brick would have to be equal to 3 kilograms. So one brick, 3 kilograms, 2 bricks would be 6 kilograms.
To level the balance, you need to double the number of kilograms.
3 times 2 is 6. That's where they're saying you need to double the number.
How does the pan balance help you see the difference between the weight of the red brick and the mass of the red brick? The pan balance helps you compare the known mass of the kilograms to the red brick. The mass of the red brick is how much matter it contains and does not change. The weight of the red brick is measured on a scale and can change because weight is based on gravity. In space, due to the lack of gravity, the weight or heaviness of an object is less than on Earth, but the mass remains the same. Now you know how to determine the mass of objects using metric units.
Perfect. Nice job, guys. We're going to do our quiz. I did it the right way today. I didn't X out of it. So go Miss Lowson, learning and growing each day. All right, let's look at this. Our first question says, which is the most appropriate unit? Remember, appropriate means the best one to measure the mass of that object, to measure the mass of an adult. So right away, I'm looking at my list and I'm going to eliminate any choices that are not measuring mass. So grams is the base unit for mass, so that one can stay. Kilograms, that also measures mass. That can stay. Milliliter, that root word liter measures capacity or volume for the metric system. So that one is gone right away. Meter measures length in the metric system. That one's gone. Right away, we have eliminated, we are at a 50-50 chance of getting this correct without even doing any work really at all, okay? So now we are thinking about what is the most appropriate unit to measure the mass of an adult. Remember, 1 gram is about the mass of a $1 bill. It's very light. You can hear me bouncing my paper on my hand with zero effort at all. And a kilogram would be about 1,000 grams. So that is going to be about the weight of a cantaloupe. What do you think would be the most appropriate unit to get us our answer the quickest to measure the mass of an adult? If you are saying kilograms, I agree with you. Grams would be way too small, way too light. One of my strands of hair is about a gram, so we don't want to, that would take forever. Okay, number 2. Which is the most appropriate unit to measure the mass of a grain of rice? So I'm not talking about a big bowl of rice. I am talking about one itty bitty little piece of rice, okay? So we have to think first, what answers can we eliminate because they don't even measure mass? Look at it. Tell me which letters you're going to get rid of. 3, 2, 1. If you said C and D, you're correct. They are gone, okay? Now we're talking an itty bitty baby piece of rice, just one. Are we going to measure that mass in grams or kilograms? If you're saying grams, you are correct. Number 3, which is the most appropriate tool to measure the mass of a small dog? Okay, so if I was measuring weight, well, let's talk about this. We have a bathroom scale. Scale, I know, if I think of a scale, I think of what I have in my bathroom that I get on and I measure my weight daily or weekly or monthly or whatever it is, okay? So I know scales measure weight. A pan balance. Well, we did use that in the weight video, but we did also use that for the metric system. So maybe that one, okay? A meter stick, that measures length. That's not going to tell me anything about the mass of a small dog. And a liter measuring cup measures capacity or volume. So again, that's not going to tell me anything. So I'm stuck between these two. Now, remember, mass is the amount of matter that an object has. It does not change even if it's on outer space, okay? The scale is measuring weight. Weight does change because weight is dependent upon the pull of gravity on that object. So if I was measuring the mass, it would actually be inappropriate for me to use the scale because the scale measures weight, not mass. So our best choice here is going to be B, the pan balance. Although, guys, I do have this fancy smart scale. It's really kind of funny. It gives me notifications when someone in my family weighs in on it, and every so often I'll get this weird little notification of about 14 pounds, and it's because Winnie steps on it in the bathroom and weighs himself on accident. It's kind of funny. All right, number 4. Which number would be greater? Okay, now we're looking at number would be greater, okay? The mass of a grape, 1 grape in grams, so 1 grape in a small unit, or the mass of the same grape in kilograms. The mass of a bunch of grapes in grams, or the mass of the same bunch of grapes in kilograms. Okay, so this is exactly like what we had yesterday with capacity with the cup and the jug, okay? First, if we're looking for the greatest number, we need to pick the greatest object. So what is greater, 1 single grape or a bunch of grapes? If you're going with a bunch of grapes, you're correct. So we are here now. We've eliminated A and B, and we are between C and D. Now we're looking for the greatest number. So remember, if it's a smaller unit, does it take more or less of that unit to fill the same space? Think back to the ruler. Do you have more inches on a ruler or more feet on a ruler? Answer that question to yourself. Inches. You have more inches on a ruler. Now ask yourself, what is the relationship between inches and feet? Is inches a smaller unit or a larger unit? It's a smaller unit. So therefore, we would have to go with C, grams in a bunch of grapes, because grams is a smaller unit than kilograms, and therefore it would take more grams to fill the same space. So we are going with C for this one. And then our last question is a little tricky, but I'm going to talk y'all through it. It says a gem such as a sapphire is measured in carats. A carat is 2/10 of a gram. So it's smaller. It's literally 2 out of 10 parts of a gram. Which of the following is the most reasonable mass of a sapphire? Okay, so right away, I'm going to get rid of both of these kilogram ones because they are 1,000 grams. This 1 carat is it's 2/10 of 1 gram, so it's not even half of a gram. It's so small. So I have to get rid of those kilograms. Okay. Then if I look up here, I have a 0, I have 16/100ths of a gram, and I have 1/60 of a gram. So the most appropriate unit for this one, or estimate for this, is going to be 16/100ths of a gram, because it is going to be the smallest unit. Okay, it's the closest to the carat. All right, let's see how we did. Drum roll. And I miss you guys. Oh, Winston's barking because I did a drum roll. Oops. We got all 5 correct. Fabulous. Okay, so what I want for you guys to do today is you are going to, after you finish watching this video, you are going to complete P14-8. Okay, it is all about units of mass. Take your time, really double check your work before you have your parent send it to me. If you, of course, need help, send me a message on Dojo. I am here for you all day tomorrow, so let me know. In addition to that, you guys are on a mission to find an object and around your household, take a picture of it, and then tell me how you would measure its mass. Would you measure its mass with the gram, which is about the mass of a $1 bill, or would you measure its mass in kilograms, which would be about a cantaloupe, okay, 1,000 grams. I'm proud of you guys. I miss you guys. Have a beautiful Wednesday. I look forward to hopefully getting to see you guys super soon. Have a great day. Bye, y'all.